Okay, so President Joe Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy meet. I'll give you the details here on this because it's a pretty big meeting and it holds a lot here going forward. Remember, Kevin McCarthy, the leader of the Republicans in the House, he's actually second in line to become the president if anything were to happen. Also, here, the U.S. secures a deal on Philippine bases to complete an arc around China, making more and more people wonder, is the US preparing for war with China? I'll give you the details on this and more in this video. Yeah, and remember, this comes after a US top general in the Air Force said that he's preparing his troops for war before 2025. And then the top Foreign Affairs Committee House representative said that he agrees with him. So things are maybe starting to add up. You can let me know your thoughts here on that. So let's jump right in. Thank you for liking this video. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos. Here we go. Okay, so Kevin McCarthy, leader of the Republicans in the House, and President Biden met to talk about the debt ceiling, which is a very, very big deal. It's probably becoming the number one issue here right now. And because the country's running out of money and they can't print any money right now, they can't borrow any money, and Social Security might payments could be paused or blocked if they don't have any money. It's a lot of problems here. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy said he had, quote, a very good discussion with President Biden at the White House about the looming debt ceiling deadline and federal spending. But the speaker says that markets should be encouraged, but that no debt ceiling deal. Yeah. Well, of course there was no debt ceiling deal because the Republicans don't even know what they want out of a deal. They don't even know what they want to cut, but we have almost half of the senators, the Republican senators, saying they want to cut some stuff from the budget, and but they don't know what they want to cut. So they're saying right now that Social Security, Medicare are off the table, but is it really? And we had another Republican senator, if you watched my video, which I've gotten so many comments on, which really shows the budget deficit that Medicare has and the deficit that Social Security is heading towards over the next 10 years. He shows that illustration here over the next 10 years, how Social Security is going to run out of money faster than expected, and the big bite that Medicare is taking and why they're running out of money. It's just so people can understand that, because people say, yeah, we pay into Medicare and we pay into Social Security, but they don't realize that the government's paying out interest on top of all that. Okay, and also that every year they're paying the cost of living adjustment raises, which means they're paying out more and more and more money each year. And then also that more people are retiring now because of baby boomers. So there's more people retiring now that are no longer paying into the system. So more and more people, and we know the baby boomers is kind of the largest like group of population that all kind of hit at once. So Social Security is in trouble. So they're going to have to adjust it somehow. And everybody's kind of fearful that they're going to make cuts. They've talked about raising the retirement age. So question is, what are they going to do? Well, the problem is that Republicans are like, well, we have to do something. Question is, they haven't told us what they want to do at all. Nothing. So Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said, well, put what you want to do on paper. The problem is they have told us nothing. And we're now down to like 100 days until the country will literally run out of money with the debt ceiling. We've already passed the debt limit. So we're basically exhausting what the country has in our checking accounts at this point. Or in the country, the government checking accounts, right? Is just kind of the easiest way to kind of think about it, right? The problem is that we get closer and closer to running out of money, and the Republicans haven't even given us their demands. So how can we even negotiate? Of course, the Democrats are saying that they don't even want to negotiate, that they shouldn't even have to negotiate. So because it's the debt limit, it's we should remember they raised it 3 times during former President Donald Trump's presidency in 4 years, and nobody negotiated then. So this is the stance the Democrats are taking, and they added almost $8 trillion in debt in 4 years, the most ever in a 4 year period. So Democrats are saying, why should we negotiate now? You guys added more debt than ever in a 4 year period, and we raised it 3 times for you guys. And this is past debt. We have to pay the interest on the past debt, which is almost $1 trillion a year alone just for the interest. So every 4 years now, it's going to be $4 trillion in debt just on the interest. And then also now is that it's almost $1 trillion for the military. It's 800 and some $billion a year just for the military budget. So over 4 years, that's like $3.2 trillion, a little bit more than that because it's 8 billion and some change, 800 billion and some change. So this is kind of the problems with our country. Don't forget Social Security and Medicare both running deficits. They're running out of money every year. So they got a lot to change here. And there's so many problems. And remember that the Republicans couldn't even agree who to elect as their leader, as their speaker. It took them 15 votes to even do that, let alone agree with Democrats who basically like, their mortal enemy, right? Um, it's like the Republicans agreeing with Nancy Pelosi, right? Like this is basically what our country has to do here at this point. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments, right? So this is kind of the issue here. And then don't forget, we have a major world war going on in in Ukraine. And believe it or not, a lot of people forget this, but Congress has pretty much unanimously agreed up until this point, all the money they've sent, and remember, they're not really sending stacks of cash over to Ukraine. The majority of money that has been allocated to Ukraine is for stuff like tanks and anti-aircraft defense. They're not sending pallets of cash over there. They're sending tanks over there. They're sending aircraft. They're sending, or not really aircraft, but they're sending, anti-missile systems and stuff like that, right? They're not sending, people are saying, oh, our checks went over there, but really they're sending tanks over there. So it's not like you would really want to trade places with Ukraine. I mean, they're literally, their apartments are getting bombed, you know. And that other video that I, I'll link you to at the end of this video talks about, if they literally cut out every dime of money going to Ukraine and foreign aid, it's a tiny sliver of our budget. It literally wouldn't even make a dent in the national budget and stuff. It's just the amount of, remember, we're spending almost $1 trillion a year in interest, and it's growing. And the problem is now as our interest rates keep going up because the Fed keeps raising interest rates. Our country has so many problems. And if that wasn't enough, then we have Russia and China to worry about. And, you can see the headlines here. And, this is the stuff that like a lot of mainstream news and stuff doesn't tell you about. If you're not watching my channel, share my channel with people and stuff. This is why I like to tell people the truth about what's going on here. I tell you stuff from both sides, Republicans, Democrats. In fact, that video from the House floor talking about our deficit and stuff was the Republican side. I tell stuff from both sides here. U.S. secures deal on Philippine bases to complete an arc around China. It makes you wonder what is going on here. Look at the details of this. The U.S. has secured access to 4 additional military bases in the Philippines, a key bit of real estate which would offer a front seat to monitor the Chinese in the South Seas and Taiwan. With the deal, Washington has stitched the gap in the arc of the U.S. alliances stretching from South Korea, which is right next door to North Korea, who literally just criticized us for sending tanks over to Ukraine and kind of threatens us on occasion, and Japan in the north, Australia, and in the south. Remember, Japan is not in NATO, but they're kind of considered in NATO's extended family. So, and they are considered kind of an alliance in with the U.S. The missing link has been in the Philippines, which borders two of the biggest potential flashpoints, Taiwan and the South China Seas. The deal, which is in part reverses the U.S. departure from the former colony more than 30 years ago, is no small matter. Quote, there is no contingency in the South China Sea that does not require access to the Philippines, says Gregory B. Poling, director of the Southeast Asia program at the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Washington. And you can look at the map here with the Philippines and how close they are to China here. And yeah, it would be basically a launching point if needed. And I'm sure China's not going to take very kindly to this news. Yeah, and really this comes just a matter of days after former President Donald Trump said that we could be at war with China, and we had the government say that, and former President Donald Trump said, or I'm sorry, we had the general say that. The four-star general from the Air Force, and former President Donald Trump said that we should be building what he called a dome in the United States. It's not an actual dome, but it's a missile defense system similar to the Iron Dome, what they call in Israel, which is again not an actual dome, but that's what the name of it is. It's a missile defense system that basically can shoot down missiles and is very, very efficient. And we helped build it in Israel, and we actually helped fund it there as well. No, we really don't. I really don't know what the U.S. has. I think it might be classified and not something that we release here. Now, former President Donald Trump would know that, but he also might just be kind of saying this that maybe we need to beef it up, or maybe he just wants to say this. Maybe we need more of them, or maybe he's saying this is also part of his presidential campaign as well. But remember, we have a lot of coastline. You think about New York, you think about Maine, you think about the Carolinas, you think about Florida, you think about the Texas area, you think about the West Coast, California, and then you think about Hawaii and you think about Alaska. There's a lot of areas to missile defend in our country. So I'll link you to those videos here you can watch next. Some really, really good videos here. So if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel. Just click the subscribe button, then the bell icon that appears after you subscribe. It's completely free to do so. Remember that new videos come out here on our YouTube channel at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because I share a lot of things here that you won't see on the mainstream news that just they don't cover this kind of stuff, and I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. So here's some videos you can watch next. Here's the video from former President Donald Trump. It includes what he said about building that missile defense system. And here's that video with the House of Representatives talking about the debt of our country and how to fix Social Security and Medicare. Really good video there. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.